To come take you in the woods behind our house for a trek to a pond. Along the way, we're finding a lot of tracks. I think these might be some mice.
Very tiny.
Going. Some bulrushes here, and if you look, it looks like this is just snow. If you dig it up, it's all ice under there. And then over here, there's this one looks like a really tall tree that fell down from, where it fell down from.
The roots.
All the way up.
Big tree.
One of the bulrushes. Let me take it off. It has all this white stuff.
Cattails.
In the summer, if you open it, in the summer, this comes apart and you can see all the seeds. It's also called cattails. And that's how it plants new seeds. Now we've reached our destination, and come summer, this is all gonna be, this ice is gonna be melted, and this is all gonna be wetland. And so we've come here to show you a lot of cool things that we've seen here a couple times we've come. So come on, let's go here. Come on. Mama. So here's some more paw prints along here. I don't know what they are, but I know we can identify them later. Mama. Mama.
Hold on, Ethan.
So these paw prints, probably something big. Maybe, probably not a deer. We'll have to identify those too later.
That's probably some sort of coyote or something. They're pretty good size.
And there's other ones over here. Over here, it looks like it might be two of one because they have two different spots and they look like they're both going that way. So that means I'm going to hear that. So let's come find out what it is. So behind me here, there's a beaver dam, and we're not going to get too close because right here, the entrance, from the inside, it keeps the beavers warm, and so it heats up the ice and makes it not good enough for us to walk on it. So if we walked on it, I would probably fall in. And this one is really big, and then over here too, one over here, and one over here. So we'll see those later. Come on, let's go keep exploring. So this is a really cool spot. Over here, a beaver has gotten and chewed down all these trees, and that makes it, they bring it over here with mud and rocks in it, and it's called a beaver dam, and it forms this dam. So it keeps this water deep to keep the beavers safe, because if animals come on it, not in the winter, but in the summer when this is frozen, when it's not frozen, when the animals come, it's too deep for them to get to the beaver. So this brings it down here, and it makes this really cool. And here's another beaver house that we have to stay far back from. And this one especially because it has a lot of thin and melted ice. Mama. 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 Fresh, chewed. So this is really cool. It's from a beaver that chewed one of these trees down, and I believe it probably took maybe 2 or 3 days because they chewed this, and they're sharp, and if you look at a beaver, you can see its teeth, and they're orange because they have iron in them. So that's how they get sharpness too. Mama! 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 These footprints belong to either a mink or a weasel. They have really small feet. They're a teeny bit bigger than the mouse footprints. And here we go. way through here. I think it probably is mink because, or a weasel because these are really small, and this is like a coyote couldn't fit here.
Another little print, slightly larger than the little weasel or mink. Lots of wildlife out here. Here we have two kinds of prints, side by side. Hold on. The little mink or weasel, and then something that's a little bit bigger. We'll have to do some research and figure out what's not hibernating and out walking around. The little mink you can tell because they kind of lean on their paws like a rabbit, and so it has the elongated print. Lots of little creatures out. They go over.
So finally we've made it back, and you can see behind us, Washington way out in the distance. And below,
There's a video of Mount Washington.
have a happy Sabbath and a good new week. Bye.
Hi everyone, it's Aunt Fernita and we're studying Lesson 8. God wins again. The message is, when God wins, we are winners. This week, our memory verse is, surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Psalm 23, verse 6. I won! Mikhail shouted. I made the final point. His teammates frowned and turned away. Recess was over. It was time for Bible class. Here's the story they studied. What do you think Mikhail might have learned? David and his 600 men marched from the city of Ziklag to help Achish, the Philistine king, fight a battle. But the Philistine princes would not let David and his men help, so they had to turn around and march all the way back to Ziklag. As Ziklag appeared in the distance, the men were shocked to see the smoke rising. While they were gone, the Amalekites had attacked and burned their city to the ground. Their wives, children, and cattle were all gone. All that was left was smoke and ashes. It's all your fault, David, the men accused. You should have left soldiers here to take care of our families. David was upset too. He had lost some of his own family. Now the men were blaming him. What should he do? David's first thought was to turn to God. He knew God would show him what to do. Bring the ephod, he told Abiathar the priest. Shall we go after the Amalekites? David asked the Lord. Will we reach them and get our families back? The ephod had 2 large gemstones on it. When the priest asked a question of God, one of the stones would glow as if the answer was yes. And that is what happened. Go, the priest said. You will reach them and get everything back again. So David and his 600 soldiers set out to find the Amalekites. But when they reached the Besar ravine, they stopped. 200 soldiers were just too tired to go any farther. So David left them to rest and guard the supplies. A little farther on, David and his men found an Egyptian lying in the field, a slave to one of the Amalekites. He had been abandoned because of illness. He was weak from hunger and thirst. David and his men gave him some water and food, and then asked the man to help them find the Amalekites. So the Egyptian led David to the Amalekite camp. From a distance, they watched the Amalekites eating and drinking, celebrating their victory. David and his men attacked the Amalekites at sunset. The battle lasted all night and the next day. When it was over, the Amalekites were defeated. Only 400 men escaped on their camels. David and his men rescued everything and every person that had been stolen from Ziklag. David and the soldiers collected their families, their possessions, and their animals. They gathered things that they had captured from the Amalekites and began the long walk home. As they neared Besar Ravine, the 200 men who had stayed behind came out to meet them. But some of David's weary soldiers were not glad to see how rested their friends looked. "We'll give these men back their wives and their children," they grumbled, "but nothing else. They didn't help us win, so they shouldn't share the goods." "Wait," David said. "Who won this battle? We didn't win. The Lord did. He gave us this victory. He protected us. So all will share alike." And that's the good news of God's grace. When God wins the battle, He shares the victory. We are all winners because Jesus won the victory over sin and Satan.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for coming back for another episode. In today's episode, I'm going to introduce you to a couple more of our special pets. I was looking on the web to find out some more about them, and here's what I found out. These little guys are called gerbils, and I discovered that our gerbils are likely from a small group of gerbils brought to the United States in 1954. And these are Mongolian gerbils. They were brought to the US in 54, and from that small population, today's pet and even medical population was bred. Gerbils are so cool. I found out in my research that gerbils live in small communities that occupy up to about 1/3 of an acre, and they live in kind of an arid region and kind of a grassland, a steppe, and the average temperature where they live is around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty cool. I also found out that gerbils live in family groups. I also found out that gerbils generally mate for life. So pretty cool stuff about these little creatures. I'm looking right on the website here. Today, I'm going to clean their cage, get all their bedding out. What's interesting is this bedding has been in our gerbil cage for months. Gerbils, because they live in an arid region, their bodies conserve moisture. So unlike mice and rats and like rabbits, other rodents, gerbils produce very little urine, and so their cage, even though they've been in their bedding for months, it doesn't smell bad. In fact, the gerbil cage is right behind me, and we don't notice it in the house because it doesn't give off a bad odor. But I'm going to clean it. I've got brand new bedding. In fact, let me show you that bedding. Here is the gerbil bedding. It looks to me like it's pretty much recycled paper, and it fluffs up. They end up tunneling in it. You'll see pictures of that. I've got those for you. This is their food. Comes in one of these fancy little packages, and I'll show you what it looks like. So here's their food. Can you see that? They've got sunflowers and little like cereal pellets and corn, and and some carrots, some looks like wheat here, wheat berries, and even some kind of boring food pellets. So they love this stuff, and that keeps them healthy and strong. Then there's a water bottle in their cage, and I'll hear them drinking water sometimes in the middle of the day, middle of the night. They love to burrow, and so when you see the video of them, a couple of the shots, you'll see them burrowing. And so they have lots of bedding in their cage because they like to dig down. We rarely see them except if they come out to eat, because I'll sprinkle their food on top and they'll come out to eat. But other than that, they're kind of underneath. So let's go check out the gerbil cage, see if I can catch them, and then I'll start cleaning it. So this is our gerbil cage from the top. And remember I talked about tunnels? You can kind of see how deep it is, and you can see one little spot where there's a tunnel. There used to be a spot here where they would sleep. Well, let's see what we find. I'm going to destroy their home and then throw out the garbage. Here's their water. So they get water from this. When they turn it, the water drops come out, but otherwise it doesn't drip. Uh-oh, there's somebody. See, somebody's coming up right there. Hi, this is Fooey in that hole. See their tunnel? And that's Carmel. Hi, Carmel. Hi. She's so cute. Yeah, you got big eyes. So there's that tail. See that soft, furry tail? They're so cute. Now we have two. We had three. A sister named Sugar. She died. But these two sisters, I'll get her sister out. They have been in our house since Alaska. You want to see what I'm looking at? See down there. See Fooey poking her head out? Yeah, hi Fooey. Oh, you don't want to get caught, huh? Well, I have to go get a bag or a couple of bags for their waste. What do you think of Fooey? That's Fooey. Hi, Fooey. You say hi to the kids? You're such a cute little creature. Yeah, Fooey is a very special little... Look at her little black toes. Can you see those black claws? And there's her soft tail. Look! Two sisters. Yeah. Well, I'm going to finish this job of cleaning their house, and then I'll get back when I'm putting on the new bedding. They're kind of fun to watch when they don't have any bedding. What? They go snooping around. Look, she found more munchies.
I can't see them.
They just don't know what to do. They're confused and wondering, where did our house go? Where did our house go? Gabe wants to come up and look. Look at those silly little girls. Okay, well, we're going to put their house back. Well, I didn't get a cardboard box, but I did get some flat cardboard, and look at this. I got a cardboard too. What do you think of that? I think they'll like that. There they are, exploring their new, freshly cleaned home. It's crazy. They don't know what to think. It smells so clean and so strange. Pretty soon it'll smell like home though. So our Bible text today comes from Samuel, 1 Samuel. There's a fascinating story about the Philistines stealing the Ark of the Covenant. And they steal it, and when they store it in one city, trouble breaks out. tumors break out, mice start devouring the crops. And so they move it to another city, and every time it moves, there's trouble again. Finally, the Philistines are exasperated and they say, what do we do? And the priests say, send the ark back. When you send it back, put 5 golden tumors and 5 mice as an offering to the God of Israel. And so they package up these golden tumors and these golden mice, and they put the ark on a cart that's led by 2 mama cows. And there's nobody leading the mama cows. The baby cows are kept back in the Philistine country. But the mama cows follow apparently an angel, or are guided by angels, back to the land of Israel. It's an amazing story of how God demonstrates his power to the Philistines and also demonstrates his power to the people of Israel, to the children of Israel. So the city to which the ark returned was the city of Beth Shemesh. And the men of the town in 1 Samuel 6:20 ask this question: who is able to stand before the Lord, this holy God? So today's lesson, even though it's not a story about mice, today's little lesson from the Gerbils is about God being a great God. So every time you see a gerbil or a hamster or some other rodent, either outside or at the pet store, or maybe in your own house, remember our God is a mighty God. Well, that's all for today. Until next time, keep exploring.